Good evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, bringing you information about your library and your community. This evening, my guest is Jamie Jones, who is one of our reference librarians at Main Library and an expert on all things with the digital databases. And of course, one of the strongest users of our databases could be our digital natives, our students. Hey, Jamie.
Yes, that is absolutely true. It's great to get kids started with the databases right away. You know, it's a way to get them to develop their literacy skills as well as their digital literacy skills, which is, of course, very important today.
Yeah, and it's so important to show them where to get valid information.
Yes.
And where to get stuff that isn't junk. And the other thing that's so great about the library is when you come to the library, your kids are safe. They're not going to be, when they're in one of our databases, one of our services, it's going to be age appropriate. They're not going to be able to wander off and
no links to illicit materials accidentally. You know, how did I get here? You know, don't have to worry about that in these databases.
Yeah, which does happen when you're just out there on the internet.
Right.
So we've been very excited because, and I'm sure people who watch TV have seen ads for ABC Mouse.
I know, I've run across it.
And and it's on a lot, advertised a lot, and what an advantage for your kids. But you don't have to buy a subscription. You can come to the library and use it for free.
That is right. Yes, you do have to pay to have it at home, but you can use it for free at the library as much as you like. Any branch, they have a link automatically on the desktop of any computers for children. So at the main branch, I believe the North branch also has a children's computer section. There's an icon right on the desktop. Otherwise, you can get to it from our website really, really easily, and you can use it for free, right, like you said.
Yep. This is one of our databases, so you can't use from home.
Right.
We have many that if you have a library card and your PIN number that you don't have to be in the library, but this one you do have to be in the library.
That's right. One of the few.
Mm-hmm. But what a great opportunity to you've got to do research or you're going to do something at the library and your kids can have an opportunity to use this while you're there.
So they're learning and they're having fun because this is a resource that's created by the Age of Learning Incorporated. It is multiple award winning, and it's just designed to help kids have fun, but also to build, a strong foundation for academic success in the future. Yeah. And it's for children, 2 to 6 or 7, middle school. So it's great to just get them started before they even get into kindergarten and just start getting those skills.
The early learning skills.
Right.
Well, I think you might have a picture of
it. We have the home page here, and as you can see, you can get started right away with a guest account, so you can just get your child on there within seconds, get them going, or parents can set up an account so that they can personalize the learning experience a little bit and save their children's progress, which of course I really recommend.
When you come back for another visit, then your stuff will be there. So
absolutely, because there's a lot in this resource that it's just great to be able to save your progress. And the sign up takes just a moment, but I wanted to show you the home page because if you have an account, you have a learning path, which is a step-by-step, it goes through several different, all of the major subjects, writing, reading, and math, art, but step-by-step, so you can, finish as many as you want that day, come back the next time, and you can keep going. And of course, as you continue on the learning path, you gain points. You gain points doing anything, because any of these other spots, the classroom, zoo, map, farm, it's all a little bit more free exploration. So instead of following a designated path, you get to pick, here's kids playing with blocks. So and then, clicking on the kids with blocks, it'll open up puzzles and things related to what they're doing. Really, really interesting.
Yeah. So for the different ages, they can find the things that they can handle.
Yes. Yeah. It is definitely customized to the age level. It asks you right when you sign up, and even if the guest account, it asks the age, so it knows where to put the child. And then, like I said, they gain points, and with the points, they get to buy prizes and gifts and things to put in their room. So they have a little bit of personalizing where they can have some fun. They buy pets and furniture and badges and things.
And clothes, we saw that.
Oh, yes, yeah.
in our exploration.
Yes.
Which we were joking about, teach them online shopping. But honestly.
And they can change their outfits, their glasses, their shoes, everything.
Yeah, but honestly, in this day and age, it's also a good experience to have in a safe environment and not accidentally be buying a whole bunch of things online that you don't really want.
Children can do when you let them explore a little bit.
But you can teach some math and some money skills that way too.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. To saving up for purchases, that are a little bit bigger is something that you really want versus wasting it away on the little things. Yeah. It's all a good foundation.
Yeah. So much as kids get older, there's so many virtual worlds where people shop and build an avatar, and so this is a real early introduction to that. And for, if you've got a 2 or 3 year old, even teaching them to use the mouse and where to click, they're so instinctive about these things. My youngest child, who's all grown up now, was just at the point where they were starting to have games for kids, and I can remember her peering over the desk with the mouse clutched in her hand and clicking on the duck to make it quack and that kind of thing.
Gosh.
And so how much fun that was, but also what a learning skill to learn to use that
mouse
tool.
And you have the hand-eye coordination that's needed. Not to mention the academic skills you're picking up.
Exactly.
Learning about, with the duck, nature and everything, which of course they've got lots of animals in here with the zoo and the farm. You learn all about the different animals.
That's the same thing we do when you check out the book about what sound does the duck make, and those are all things you need to know, your colors, your numbers.
Right, and it brings it all to life here. So this is a really great resource for children.
Yeah.
So again, they do have to come to the library to use it, but it is absolutely free, and it's just really, really beneficial.
Yeah,
so,
great.
But we do have several other resources for children too, for those early learners, looking again at the kind of 3-ish age group and up. We have Tumble Books here. This is a fantastic resource. You don't need an account. You don't need anything to use Tumble Books. You just go to the e-resource or the ebooks tab on our website and get right in there.
And there it is,
and,
which is peoriapubliclibrary.org.
Right.
If you haven't ever been there,
right,
for some reason,
right,
you've
you really
missed
should.
this. But the thing that's so great about this is you don't even need to sign in with your library card. You don't need the PIN number. And I always tell parents, you've got a kid stuck in the shopping cart, or you're stuck in the doctor's office. Get out your phone, or your tablet.
You have Wi-Fi. You can access it anywhere, anytime.
Anytime you can get on the internet, you can get this. And I do have to say that this, when you look at our hits on our webpage, this is probably one of the most popular.
Good.
Because you can use it with a group too. If you have the neighborhood kids over and they're getting wild.
You can set up playlists. They even have playlists already made there in the green. It's amazing. It'll put together several books like on a similar topic, and you just press play, and there they go. Because the great thing about Tumble Books, it's not just ebooks. I mean, it's, text on a page. It's read-alongs for the most part.
Well, it's like reading Rainbow is what I compared it to, where it's slightly animated storybooks. It's not complete animation, but parts of it move.
And it's read to you, and usually the text is highlighted, so of course that's really great for children that are learning to read, getting there. So it's,
well, I know some of our teachers use it as a learning tool and as a reward, because you can customize it so you can have it read out loud, you can turn the sound off, you can have it highlight words, and then you can play a game that has to do with the book after you finish it.
A lot of the books have games and puzzles, and some even have videos attached, especially with the nonfiction. They have videos about, if you're reading a book about weather, then they have a video from National Geographic about weather, the weather patterns and things. So it's a really, really useful resource, and just so beneficial for the kids.
Oh yeah.
Again, So they're still getting that digital, and they're getting that, the real world literacy. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and parents do get stuck where they are trying to keep a child entertained for many, many reasons, and so this might be a little better than some of the other things.
Put them on the iPad with a little, game or something, which is great too, but this is a really good way to get games and learning all in one. So yes, Tumble Books is fantastic, and this is Tumble Book Library, but we also have Tumble Book Cloud Junior, Tumble Book Cloud, all for different age groups. So as the child grows, they can move up to the different sections. So as you can see here, we still have read-alongs. We have more ebooks that are just the text. As the children get older and they're just, they're comfortable with reading, they can just read online. One great thing about these ebooks, unlike some of our others, which are still fantastic collections, this is streaming. So as many people can use it at once as possible. 5 million people can be reading the same ebook. There's no checkouts.
Yeah, you're not checking it out and downloading it.
Right,
You're just
so that it's not available for anybody else. It's available for everyone all the time. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I like, one of the unusual things you can do with this is quite a few of them come in another language. And so for those high schoolers that might be studying, or even adults who are studying another language, you can put it on the other language, and particularly if it's a classic or familiar story,
that's really
sometimes it's useful because you kind of know where you're going, and it gives you great practice in reading.
Gives you that sort of head start. You already know the story, but then you can translate it into the language that you're trying to learn. Yes, they offer Spanish, French, Korean, and several others, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's very, very nice. And as you get a little bit older, they have more graphic novels and things for, the kids that are starting to mature a little bit. Same with Tumble Book Cloud, and we also have audiobook clouds. So great
Yeah, that's
resources.
nice, the audiobook cloud too, because it can read to you. All right.
Right along. Yep, and then here's a familiar one, Britannica.
Oh, yes.
Everybody
in
probably
my day,
knows.
had the big white encyclopedias with the
Yes.
gold lettering.
I remember those.
And every year you got the yearbooks to update the information, but I always wondered how you're supposed to know what was outdated.
Yeah. So wait, check the yearbook for the new
Check
information
the yearbook
here.
for the new before you go look at anything
Well, the
old.
nice thing about the Britannica Online is you never have to worry about that because the updates are just made seamlessly all the time. And as you can see now, they even separate children, young adults, and adults. So it's a customized search experience.
That young adult is new, isn't it? Didn't it
Yes.
used to just be children and
There
adults?
was just the reference center and then Britannica for
Which
kids.
leaves kind of a gap,
Right.
because the children's stuff was often too simple for, say, a 7th, 8th grader, but
Right.
the adult maybe is too much. So
Right, yeah.
what a perfect thing.
Yeah, so now they can customize their search right away. And as you can see here, I believe I have some slides showing the differences in the articles. So this was done, this is a search for Pluto on in the children's search box. As you can see, it brings up a nice, a short article, very, visually attractive.
And the type is easier to read, designed for the newer reader.
Yes. But this is a search for Pluto done in the adult, the reference center. And there's a lot more information. As you can see, there's separate articles. It's all adult language, so there's a lot of words that children might not understand very easily. Although a nice thing about Britannica Library is if you double click on any word, it'll give you a dictionary definition. So if
you don't
children
even
feel like
have to
moving
go
up just a little bit, they can get their definition for tricky words right there.
Yeah, or if adults are free to use the younger versions as well. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And it got images and videos. And I'm not sure anymore. I haven't looked at this recently, but at one point there was like a backpack feature where you could save your research. How does all that work?
You create, I believe it's called My Britannica. You can set up a My Britannica account, which is free, just like anything else through the library and through our digital resources. You just set up an account with an email and a username and password, and you can save articles. So you can kind of group them. You can even save them in different folders. So say you're doing 2 different papers, one on history and one on science. You can save your articles that way. And that way you don't have to keep searching for them again and again. And of course there's lots of tools involved with that, like the citations. You can get them right there. You can email the articles to yourself. There's all kinds of different things you can do once you get in there.
So it's a much different experience than the days when those of us who took the little call slip from the reader's guide and took it to the desk, and somebody sent something up from the deep dark basement, and then you had to have your guidebook to figure out how to write the citations, because it's all done for you now.
Right, it is all just generated automatically, so you can rely on that. You don't have to worry about looking it up or anything. It's done for you.
Now this has images too, so if somebody's doing a PowerPoint or a presentation, are they allowed to use those images?
Yes, all rights cleared, so it's completely free and easy to use. No copyright issues involved. They are all completely available for people to use for PowerPoints, presentations, anything you need. So.
Yeah, I know kids often are requested to do PowerPoints for class these days, and
we have the video clips too, so those are, you can always embed those into PowerPoints, and if you need help with that, ask your librarian, we can help.
We should have embedded a video clip in this show.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
But we didn't do it. Yeah, but that's something we could have done, and it would have been copyright free. We wouldn't have had YouTube coming down on us for using wrong material. Yes.
Always something you got to worry about. And then I just had one more thing to show with the Britannica. This is one of the research centers. If you'd rather not search right from the main page, you can click on one of those headings, the children, young adult, or reference, and go to a research center where they've got all sorts of tools. Like I said, there was a citation, but they've also got just kind of unique collections, say like biographies, or they've got a compare countries tool where you can get statistics, compare statistics from, one country to another, which is really nice, with a lot of children's projects where they've got to learn about a certain place and how is it different from America, or that
yeah,
sort of
sure,
thing.
with all those geography and social studies type lessons.
Right.
Where you often have to gather statistics, what's the gross national product, what's the main crop,
Right.
what's the population.
The average income, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's all right there for you. You can see compare countries there, explore biographies, the World Atlas. They've got all sorts of special tools here. So going into the reference center is nice too. But if you just have a quick search, you can just quick search from the main page. So we have Britannica here, which of course is an old favorite, just made new. And now we've got World Folklore and Folk Life, which is a big favorite, I think, with the teachers, especially because this is some great material for children. It's a little bit of a trickier, it's a little bit more of an advanced database, but there's a lot of great material in here to use with kids.
Well, what all does this cover?
Oh, fables and folklore across the world and time periods. It's got, as you can see here, the African American folk music, I think, is the topic or the featured resource right now. But then it's got, all of Aesop's fables, several of the Greenwood encyclopedias of folklore is really what, kind of like how Britannica is now digital. That's what this is. It was, encyclopedias of folklore once upon a time, and now it's a digital resource that's continually updating and expanding. And
okay, but it focuses mostly on sort of the common people and the
right, yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with this one at all.
It's a new one. It's a new one up there. So that's why I thought we'd talk about it today. Because it is all folk tales, folk music. It's also got some articles about folk tales, so you can learn a little bit about sort of the tropes and what they meant to the society. Because the great thing about folklore that we learn about is not just the tales themselves, but what it shows about the people who wrote them. So this is a big one for that. Yeah.
Cool.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, and is this one you can use when you're away from the library with your library card?
Yep, you can use it away from the library. It's one of the weird ones that doesn't require your library card. It's got a username and password, which we have right up on the website, so you can always use it right there. Yep, once you go to the link for World Folklore and Folk Life, it's got that username and password, so you just sign in using that.
So this is something that teacher can get to during the day at school. And what occurs to me, oddly, is people who are working on genealogy that may want to know about their history, their ancestors who came from somewhere. This could kind of fill in the picture and maybe help understand what people were going through.
That's a really good point. I never thought too much about that, but it does. It kind of gives you that sort of, the texture of that history. It's not just the people, you kind of get the names of your people, but to know what their culture was like,
Well, and the other place it's probably helpful is studying art, whether you're studying music or, paintings, drawing, sculpture. When you go back and look at the environment that artist, that person creating that artwork was in, what were they surrounded by at that time?
What was influencing them? Yeah.
Right. You have a lot of times when you go in and analyze a painting, you find out, what the roots of something were, why something is the way it is, and you can find
like they put that there or in that way.
For a specific reason. So this could be a good resource for that.
Yeah, because you can browse by region. So if it's an area or a place you're interested in, you can find that place, and then find all the material relating to it. You can look by certain tale, so if you're looking for Cinderella tales and different nationalities, you can find all of those. It's really flexible and pretty interesting. I'm excited about this one.
Oh yeah. So that's the kind of thing where you could look at. Creation stories, I think they're called.
Stories, yeah. Those are big, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's a nice one. And then, just as a fun throw, and this is actually a free web resource that we have linked to our website. It's kind of on the research pages in the right-hand margin. We sometimes have some recommended websites, so we try to keep them fresh but put some new stuff up. This is one of our newest. On the student page, you can find it over there, DK Find Out. It's put out by the DK company. They put out a lot of reference books.
Right. A lot of books, you'll see the DK and with the big pictures.
The icon up there. And that is exactly what they do here. This is great for children. As you can see, it's a really attractive, lots of pictures, and they can just kind of browse by what they're interested in, or if they're looking for, something for homework, they can search too. But it gives some great, little bit of, encyclopedia type information. So just a short article about the topic, and then things you can click on to, zoom in on, with the tiger, you can zoom in on different parts of the body and learn about, the stripes or the tail and the way that the paws work. And
fun.
Really exploratory.
Sounds like a great resource.
Yeah,
and we do, on that children's page, have a lot of links and a lot of resources, not only for learning, but we have craft ideas, and
Yeah.
I know one of our new things is Storytime Blueprints, where there's
Yes.
resources to do story time at home, or if
home.
you're a daycare provider. And because a lot of times parents are kind of struggling for
Something
how
to keep
can
the
I-
kids busy.
yeah, well, how can I, and just struggling with their own, they haven't done that kind of thing before.
Right, right.
And they want to read to their child and make it exciting and entertaining. And so those things can help, because
Right.
it is always a better learning experience when, I mean, just reading the book is great. If you can get that far, just
That's
reading
really
that book,
important.
you know, maybe 20 minutes a day, you give your child such an advantage. But if you've got more time and more energy and want to do the craft with it or
Some
something.
finger plays or a song. Yes.
Finger
yeah.
plays, songs, and that can be a lot of fun,
Yes.
and kind of expand the learning.
Yeah.
And parents are so pressured and have so much to do these days, but that's the kind of thing that can make something special, even if it's just when you have a long weekend or a holiday or something, or going on vacation.
Going on vacation, yeah. Or if you've got a babysitter coming over, and what can they do to keep the kids busy? Well, here's a great opportunity, to bring out the storybook and the songs, and and they're getting all that put together and ready for the parents, right on to the Storytime Blueprints.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a great resource they're working on.
It is, it is. Well, we've got a little bit of time, so maybe we could jump to a little bit older group. And another thing I know you work with is our testing databases.
Oh, yes.
And of course, those testing databases often are high school through, as old as you want to get, that you're still taking tests. But what kind of things are in it? We say testing database, and people go, well, what's that? What do you do with a testing database?
Well, we have the Testing and Education Resource Center, which is full of, like you said, it's got question banks and things for middle school and high school. It's also got, like you said, tests just kind of across the board, what you need. So, if you're in high school, you've got tests to get ready for SATs, ACTs, or AP tests, the advanced placement tests that are so popular now, getting you that college credit early. So you can study for those tests, you can take practice tests, and then really that's kind of mainly what the deal is. It's got study books and practice tests, but it's got them for high school, for getting ready for college, for getting ready for graduate school. It's got the GRE. It's also got the GED. Oh my goodness, it's got so much. And then certification, professional certification. That comes up a lot. So it's got all kinds of professional certification from some medical fields to paralegal. A lot of public service. I think the police and fire department, police and firemen tests are in there. So it's just a great place if you're getting ready for a test. You can read that study book. You can read, like I said, it's an ebook, kind of like the Tumble Books. It's available all the time. So as many people who are studying for that test, they can all use the study book rather than having to check out that physical book in the library sometimes.
Right.
If it's a certain time of year, they're all gone.
Yeah.
So
and
this way.
And I think people are familiar with that. They used to be able to come to the library and check out a study guide, but those often disappeared.
Right.
They didn't make it back.
Right. Yeah. They are kind of a high risk item.
and in addition to that, the tests change so frequently. It's not a good
Sometimes
use of our funds
to keep buying
the new one all the time and having to
Especially if
discard
it
it.
goes- yeah.
And this way, with the database, they're always up to date. They're always ready to go.
Right.
Always, and as you said, anybody can use them.
Anytime.
Yeah, and they can use it from home too, correct?
They can use it from home, yep, and they can try all those practice tests from home. There's usually at least 2 practice tests for each, subject, whether it's the GED, the GRE, or, a medical exam. I think, they've got like the LPN and things like that. They've got a couple of different practice tests, so you can take one, see what you think. If you didn't do so well, read the study book a little more, try the other one, and maybe you'll feel confident and ready to go. It's the idea. So.
Yeah, to be more comfortable with doing that and get better at test taking.
Yeah, and the thing about a lot of those tests is it costs money to take it, so you don't want to have to take it multiple times.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to save some money, just to use that preparation time, use the free resource, and then pay for that test just one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And for the high school kids too, even a couple points can make a difference on what college you're accepted to or what scholarship you can get.
Yeah.
And so being really, really well prepared to take those. So many people have test anxiety.
I know I do.
And I don't. I always looked at tests as a challenge, and I always kind of sharpened my pencil and ready to go. Come on, ask me, throw your best at me.
I always tell I can know as much as I want, but then if I just kind of get that freeze up moments. So if you have that freeze up moment when you're at home alone, just trying it out that first time, then that's great to be able to kind of make you feel a little bit more comfortable when the time actually comes. So,
yeah. Well, we have Brain Fuse, which we've talked about a lot at the library. People watching this may or may not have heard of Brain Fuse,
Right.
but there's some resources in that to prepare for tests too, aren't there?
Yes, it's got, Brain Fuse has so much. I mean, of course, the big draw of it is the tutors. You can chat with tutors online, but you can also take practice tests or just, read up on specific tests. They've got ACT and SAT again, and GED again, so you can take practice tests and then even chat with a tutor about how you did. But yeah, it's got study banks, so you can just, read material, and then you can take that practice test. You can even set up flashbulb accounts so that way you can make your own flashcards, digital flashcards, and set them up in a game. So that's great for kids when they're trying to learn, whatever subject they're having trouble with, math or, what have you. They can make their own practice cards and set it up in a game way. So that they're playing hangman, or there's a fly swatting game where you have to pick the right answer in order to swat the fly, sort of thing. Yeah. So
anything like that is a lot of fun. Yeah.
So that's great for all ages. It goes also from K to college, So.
And on up. There's so many adults that end up with new careers and having to go back and start over.
Right.
Well, we're just about out of time, so I want to thank you so much for taking time away from your very busy duties and doing all those programs and keeping us all up on this stuff. So thanks.
Sure. Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. So thank you.
You can go to peoriapubliclibrary.org and look under the research tab and get a drop-down menu that has all these great resources we've been talking about. You're going to want to get your children on these early and often. You can be assured that they're safe here, that they're getting valid information, they're getting the information that their teachers want them to have. You can use a search engine and you'll get 10,000 answers and who knows which one is right. But if you come to the library and use our databases, you're going to get the one right answer that you need. So make sure that you visit our website, either in the library or at home, and we'll see you next week on Information Please.